Alright guys, I'm in this little neighborhood here. I'm not sure how well this mic's gonna pick up my voice. And I've got Trent Reznor screaming in my other ear. But we're gonna go on a brick recovery mission today, and then I'm gonna have another show and tell video for you guys. Let's get started. Smell the barbecue. There's a barbecue joint on top of this hill. BB's. Got a lot of live blues and jazz too. Oh my goodness. What a psycho I am. See if we can rig this up here. Those bricks got to be over 10 pounds a piece.
Oh, yes. I'm not sure it's gonna work. front here. Snug as a bug.
If that rack doesn't break, that's pretty amazing. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. And as you just previewed, today has been a gloomy, depressing day. I was suffering from a little bit of boredom, so I went ahead and hopped back on the bicycle and dropped into the trolley trail to go on my brick recovery mission. So I recovered 2 bricks that I stumbled upon in my last exploration. There's a few things that I found interesting with these, so I wanted to get these home and get a closer look with you guys. Also, on my last exploration, I stuffed my backpack full of bottles once again, and I did a little research on these, mostly pulling dates, between the 50s and 60s. So nothing too exciting on those. They're still fun to look at, so we'll do a brief little view of those. And finally, also on my last outing, I recovered this Cyphers Incubator Company can, Buffalo, New York, that I left behind on the trolley trail. It is actually from some ruins off of the Blue River Road, and a little bit of research into that might indicate the late 1800s or early 1900s, but I'm going to save that for last. We're going to do just a quick little his story search on the Cyphers Incubator Company. But we're going to start with these 2 bricks here and let's get it going. All right, so, okay, I'm going to have to throw these things on the scale here to see what I was lugging. 10 pounds, almost on the dot, actually. Let's try one more time. 10-pounder, y'all. Let's try this guy. A little bit under 10 pounds. Here's to another workout. Let's start with this one. Try to get you some light in here. First of all, this is the first one that I found. I remember because of this red in here. Which reminds me a lot of some of those red granite blocks that I find all over the place. But, and you look at this side here, guys, what is this? What's going on? Got kind of a gray. Got to set a corner down here for a second. Get you a little view of that. Just thought it was interesting, this red here on this layer, and it turns into this gray, looking like granite to me. Also, there's this little line here This funky pattern. Both of these bricks have this. And as a matter of fact, while I was digging around, I couldn't remember where the other one was. It was somewhere by that terracotta pipe that I found. But I stumbled upon another one of these. But it had a huge chunk of mortar on it, so I wasn't about to try to get that in the backpack. Look at this edge here. And has the same line over here. Some more of that gray with the orangish red mixed in. And it's got one of those, it's got those humps on this bottom side as well. Hold on, let me get you zoomed out. Sorry guys, I'm struggling with this a little bit. You can see it there. We got all kinds of multicolored stuff going on the bottom here. Some of that plumish purple. How sharp that edge is. All right, I think you saw just about every side of that one. Check out brick number 2 here real quick. Hope this light's sufficient. It's got one of those edges. So I'm not sure if this was manufactured to be a large brick like this. You know, some of these, it's pretty obvious that they have expanded. But here, this has some trace of mortar that looks like it fits, you know, some of these grooves here. These are 2 things I should have put on that Lazy Susan. I could just spin them around, but almost through here. Just wanted to show you the transformation on that one, guys. It just looked like it was starting to turn to something that resembles granite. All right. No making fun of my oil pastel back there of the airship. It is still in the works. Actually, you guys can say whatever you want and I'll laugh about it. But here's our first bottle. What is it, guys? Looks like a syrup bottle. Well, if you guessed syrup bottle, you would be correct. See if I can get you in here without too much reflection. It's a Log Cabin syrup bottle, most likely from the 60s. Interesting pattern. Of course, the label is missing. I think I found a photo of one with a label. I'll throw it in here. Found a couple photos or comparables to a couple of these. So I'll throw those in when applicable. Numero dos. What do we got? Got a Clorox bottle. This is coming through. Stuff always looks darker on the phone than it is on the actual video. Maybe it's my settings, but also from the 50s or 60s. It's a trademark thing. These also have some rainbow stuff going on. I cleaned them the best that I can. As I mentioned, sometimes some water stains and stuff can give a rainbow effect, but some of these glasses have it within them. As far as I know, guys, I'm not an expert. And this just has either a Z or an N. I have not looked into this. It's probably going to be a little more difficult. And sometimes they have these under dash little marks, which sometimes, and correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes it indicates, this is the bottom, so you're looking at this like that as a Z, right? Not sure what this contained. Oh, this has a little tiny dot all the way around, and I'm having deja vu right now, so either I have another bottle exactly like this and I've said this same thing before, or not. But just one little dimple. And this little jar here, got one similar to this. I haven't checked to see how similar yet, but pretty heavy piece of glass just for this little jar. $2038. Another circle. And I don't know, guys. It looks like a 33 to me, but could be something else. 17. Could be an EE. It would be upside down from these numbers, other numbers, but number 5. Get you focused in here. Also from around the 50s or 60s. Took this one because I really liked these grooves. It's got some stuff on the bottom that I can't get off. Haven't tried the CLR yet. And number 6. This little beer bottle here. Finally found one that wasn't broken. Again, from the same time frame, apparently. Not to be refilled. No deposit. No return. Womp, 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 womp. And last but not least here, this little gem. What is it, guys? It's a Pepsi bottle. I thought it was interesting. It looked like it had never been cracked. Let's see if I can get you focused. And this is from, it looks like the early 80s. I was only able to find one image of one of these. And it has this really funky shape to it. So it was kind of hard to find. Most of them are perfectly rounded, you know. This has like a little dimple here and there. But as I mentioned, looked like it had never been cracked. I gave it a little twist. Yeah, there's some other stuff here. There's that I inside the O again. But I started to turn this earlier and it started to have a hissing sound, guys. I was blown away, so I stopped. I'm going to crack it here, see if it does it, and if I can get the sound on here. I didn't really want to crack it because it didn't look like it had ever been cracked unless they got it off, with the thing still attached. Here we go. You hear it? I think we just released some air from the 1980s, guys. What is going on? Is this real life? Well, apparently it was able to come off without cracking. Interesting. All right, let's open up a can. As mentioned before, I found this amongst some ruins off of Blue River Road. Tried to include some links in the description. One seam right there. Cyphers Incubator Company, Buffalo, New York. Small, whatever that meant. This is kind of a large can by today's standards. Not sure what it contained or what it was used for. There's a purposeful hole right here. But as I mentioned, we're going to do a little his story search on the Cyphers Incubator Company and see what they're all about. I'm on the goggle machine here, and I always try to, find the information everywhere but AI, if at all possible. And in this case, AI is the best option here for the information. Cyphers Incubator Company in Buffalo, New York was a major innovator and leader in poultry incubation technology, launching its revolutionary non-moisture self-ventilating incubators around 1896. Oh, the 1890s. How bizarre. Quickly dominating the market with easy-to-use, effective machines and expanding globally with branch offices in major cities, publishing guides and operating actively into the 1930s before disappearing by the early 1940s, leaving a legacy in modern poultry farming. So, where did they go? They just disappeared all of a sudden? What's going on? So, here we are in the 1890s, coming up with this revolutionary technology here and expanding globally. Innovation. They introduced the first truly non moisture, self ventilating incubator to the American market in 1896, setting a new standard in hatching technology. Market dominance. The company rapidly became the top seller in the US and Canada, outperforming competitors due to its practical design and excellent results. Buffalo base. The company was based in Buffalo, a city known for its industrial and logistical importance, where they manufactured their incubators and employed numerous workers. Educational focus. Cyphers also published educational guides on poultry husbandry, aiming to help poultry keepers succeed and further promote their methods. Global reach. They established major branch offices in cities like New York, Boston, Chicago, and London, supporting a large customer base. Decline. The company remained prominent through the 1930s, but ceased appearing in industry directories by the early 40s, making the end of its significant presence. It's funny, I backed out of this and then came back, and some of the information has changed. They finally added the founder of the Cyphers Incubator Company, this Charles A. Cyphers. And, as per usual, whenever I think that I might have stumbled upon something interesting or tried to acquire some information, I am led to somewhere where somebody is selling something. I just want to copy the name. Yes, copy text. Here we go with our 2025 technology. Charles Cyphers, an American actor who is known in the horror movie community for his work in the films of blah bitty blah blah. So they don't give us anything about the Charles Cyphers that apparently invented a revolutionary way of hatching chicks. So I'm doing a little search, and I'm not going to do a deep dive into this incubator company here, guys. Just trying to find a little bit of quick information. Sometimes I find things in the images section. So that landed me on this website here, this certain website that puts watermarks all over all of these images and then uses these public domain images to make money off of. But anyways, is this Mr. Cyphers over here with the marvelous mustache? What else do we got? Apparently this is one of these incubators. I was reading somewhere that they were, or Cyphers was producing industrial sized incubators that, and I can't remember, something about 20,000 chicks or eggs hatched within some kind of crazy time frame, but I mean, I guess, this looks like something the horse and buggy people could come up with. Still, I have not been able to find any tin can like the one I found. Back on the certain website here, apparently we've got some old photos again. Maybe they just had a ton of these smaller incubators. Not real sure. I'd really like this to stop popping up as I'm scrolling here. That is a super disservice. Oh, look at that. Maybe that's what this can was. It has a little hole in it. Maybe it was some kind of feeding. Who's buying these photos from these people? I don't get it. So I guess a lot of this is from a Cypher's third annual catalog. But I mean, this looks like, one of those, looks like my tin can, except not all crushed up, has a little hole in here. Possibly, it doesn't say what this is, but it looks like some kind of feeding mechanism. So this down here is saying this is a drinking fountain. We claim that these galvanized iron drinking fountains are an improvement on the other style fountains now on the market. I don't know, what do you guys think? Tried to do a quick search on the Cyphers Incubator Company drinking fountains, and I couldn't find anything, guys. The main thing being, how this Buffalo, New York tin item came to be here in Kansas City. Well, apparently they had a branch office and sales room here in Kansas City at 2325 Broadway. But anyways, that's going to wrap this little interwebs his story search on the Cyphers Incubator Company up. And I hope you guys enjoyed my finds, and I will see you on the next one.